Oh, did you?
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, I think I enjoyed that. I'm always amazed that there's only so many notes that you can play and chords you can play, but the combinations of songwriting are just endless. It still floors me to this day where things will come from. You know, you just have to find your voice. You don't have to sound like, you know, like this huge pop star. You just have to be true to what your voice is. Well, I would consider myself a bit of a late bloomer actually as a musician. I picked up guitar at around 16 or 17, and I'd always been a fan of music. But then once I started playing, I realized, oh, I actually have something here that I enjoy doing, and so probably in my mid-20s was the time that I started thinking this is something I could do. For me, it was more friend-based. Like, I had a bunch of friends that were musicians, and as I started getting my chops as a guitar player, they invited me into their world, and I started playing in a band. So but I had a huge influence in terms of music when I was growing up. I'm the youngest of 3 boys, and my eldest brother had a massive record collection. So I was always listening to music, but there wasn't any one moment for me like that early on. It was more just entering into like the garage band kind of world, and then realizing, yeah, this is cool. I can work with this. Or Turned Around. But then I got thinking, we got lots of funky stuff going on with Unfinished Business and stuff like that. That can be our back pocket song. Like why don't we run Smile and then we can make a game de decision. Just to have an extra one. I think that creatively, as a writer and an arranger, I didn't realize I were those things early on. I was strictly just a guitar player playing in a band. And then I kind of found my voice, like vocally, and I've always enjoyed writing creatively. And when those all sort of coalesced, I realized the bands that I had been in previously were all original bands, and we would throw in the odd cover just to, if it suited what we did, which is still what I do to this day. Like, we ended with Gordon Lightfoot, Sundown at the end of Street Fest. But I realized I've only got so much creative time and energy to invest, so I would rather invest it in originals and then find places that don't mind if you play original songs, which is always a challenge actually as a musician, playing bars and things like that. So for me, usually, because I'm an instrumentalist first, a lot of times there'll be a nugget of a riff or a melodic line that I've come up with, and I've got a theme that I want to write on. And so it's hard to say whether the music comes first and the lyrics come second. It's usually like a 50-50 thing, but they always find their way to integrate at some point. But yeah, I draw upon all kinds of different places for inspiration.
Yeah, definitely. I'm a self-employed general contractor, like a carpenter by trade. So I often tell people I've got chunks of drywall and 2x4s all strewn all over the GTA with song lyrics on it, because I'll be working away, and I don't play the radio at work, which a lot of my fellow trades go, "You're a musician, why don't you play the radio?" And I'm like, actually, I do a lot of my best songwriting when I'm just sort of doing my thing and things come up. So I've learned over the years that as soon as the inspiration hits, that I gotta either record it on my phone or write it down, scribble it down on a piece of drywall, and that way it sticks. That some songs, like I think Leonard Cohen spent forever trying to nail down all the songs, or all the verses for Hallelujah, like there's tons of them. So the process took like a few years or a couple of years or something like that. I would say for the most part for me, from inception to completion, it's probably a couple of months in the making. So I find my stuff comes together rather quickly, I think, as a musician. And then I'll have notebooks filled with bits and pieces of lyrical content that I can go, oh, I can pull that from there and use it over here. So it's like a big jigsaw puzzle.